Welcome to Kick Up the Sass. No fluff, no faffing, just some real talk coaching. I'm Alice, your coach, and each week I unpack what's happening in my client check-in forms, including mindset struggles, nutrition and workout tweaks, blockers, wins, so you walk away stronger, sexier, and more badass than you were when you started. Hello, here I am with the check-in form feedback from this week. Firstly, I just want to say, wow, some absolutely amazing comments on the check-in form. You're all just such a positive ray of energy. The fat loss wins, the strength wins. You just all loving the community. I'm just really, really happy and pleased that you're loving it so much. What I'm also enjoying is that the questions, they're changing a little bit as the weeks go on, and they are getting kind of higher level, more technical, which is just showing where you've kind of come from and to in terms of your understanding of how to change your body through weightlifting and through your nutrition. So let's get into it. Nervous to increase weights and how to get around that. So there's a couple of things I want to talk about around this one. This lady has also put on the check-in form that she has noticed big increases in her strength and she feels and is looking better. So my question that I'm posing back to you is, why are you nervous to increase weights? What do you think is going to happen if you go up? Just have a little think about that, have a little ponder. And I'm going to give you what I think the answer is. So I think the first thing that you're probably nervous about is maybe you're going to hurt yourself. But you would have had those nerves when you first started lifting the weights and when you increased them a little bit. You might be nervous very subconsciously that you're going to suddenly turn into a bodybuilder. I promise this isn't going to happen. I've been trying for a long time now. You're not just going to get bulky overnight. So if that's, if fear of bulking is holding you back, I just need to reiterate that isn't going to happen. It's really difficult for women to pack on that amount of muscle mass. Your nutrition needs to be on point. You're eating from Tupperware at weddings. That level of prep is required. So if that's the reason, then please just throw that one straight out the window because you're not going to get bulky by accident. I think injury is probably the main one, or that it's going to be too heavy. But it's fine, because if it's too heavy, you just don't lift it and then you go back to the weight you're on before. No one's judging you. The weights aren't judging you. The app isn't judging you. No one's going to know. And it's much better to try and go heavier and then think, oh, okay, no, I need a few more weeks, and keep trying and pushing to go heavier. You're going to get much better progress. And as you've already said that you've increased your strength and you're looking and feeling better, you could really accelerate your progress by lifting heavier. So I just want you to ask yourself, why am I nervous to increase the weights? What is the worst thing that's going to happen if I go heavier? Okay. And after you've listened to this, drop me a message if you want to discuss it privately in more detail. And then another question is, how much impact do targeted exercises have? This is a great one. So it's kind of hard to give a tangible measure for how much impact it has. But basically, the more frequently through the week you stimulate the muscle group, the more the muscles are going to grow. So if you never train arms, your arms are just going to stay the same. If you train arms 3 times a week and never train legs, your legs are just going to stay the same. If you think about children, when we're children, everyone thinks it's crazy. Kids, they have such good grip strength. They can hold themselves up. They can do the monkey bars. The only reason we stop being able to do that is because we stop going to playgrounds and stop doing monkey bars. So I think this lady probably wants to target her glutes. So if you want to add in an extra glute workout, it will make a difference to your glute progress. If you're doing 3 full body workouts a week and you want to do 2 full body and 1 glutes, or 2 full body and 1 upper, whatever it is that your goal is, or you want to keep doing 3 full body and add in a glutes or an upper, it is going to make a difference because you're going to be stimulating those muscle groups more frequently, which is going to mean that they're going to grow bigger and faster and stronger in a short period of time. So yeah, targeted exercises do have an impact, but you can't spot reduce body fat. You can spot increase muscle mass, and that will give an illusion of reduced body fat, but you can't, for example, just do core exercises all day long and expect to lose all the fat on your stomach. Fat reduction comes from your calorie intake and your energy expenditure and that balance, but you can target muscle mass growth. So for example, and a lot of women do this, if you only want to work on glutes and like back, you could do that. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it for like a balanced life and for general usefulness. Like, it's quite handy being able to have like strong shoulders in case you're lifting a big box or putting something in the loft or whatever. But for aesthetics, you could just solely train like glutes or your back or your shoulders, whatever it is that you want to train, and build a lot of muscle in that one area. So if you are wanting to increase muscle mass in a specific area, then do more exercises that are targeting that muscle group. But just to reiterate, you can't spot reduce fat. It will go from wherever it wants to go. Everyone holds it in different areas. If you think about like yourself and your friends and your family, lots of us have like our quote unquote problem areas. So for me, when I gain body fat, it goes straight onto my stomach and hips. And when I lose it, it goes from there last. So I'll always gain it there first, and that'll be the place that it's still there right at the end of like the calorie deficit period. Whereas my best friend from school was the opposite. She would gain it on her arms and legs, and it would go onto her stomach last. So she'd always have a tiny little waist and a flat stomach, but be really conscious about her arms and legs. So you can't pick and choose where your body fat arrives and where it goes from, unfortunately, but we can increase the muscle mass in those areas. Okay. So this question is about workout length. Is 3 times 50 minutes workouts the same as, or has the same impact as 4 times 30-minute workouts? So I think this lady's struggling with doing a longer workout less frequently through the week. Sorry, I'm trying to get my coffee before it goes cold. It pretty much is the same. There's probably actually some, what's the word? I can't think of the word, but there's probably something in it where 4 times 30 minutes probably has a better impact, because it would just go back to the muscle stimulation. You'll be stimulating your muscles more frequently. So you could be hitting shoulders. If you're doing 4 workouts a week and 3 of those workouts have got shoulder exercise in, you're hitting shoulders 3 times a week. Whereas if you're doing 3 workouts for 50 minutes, you might only be hitting shoulders 2 times a week, for example. You're going to be, if you're doing full body and you do 4 times 30 minutes, you're hitting your legs 4 times a week. So actually, there is an argument to say that 4 30-minute workouts is better. The only thing is, if you cut your workouts down too much, you could just be missing out entire muscle groups every week. So just make sure that if you're cutting the workouts down, and this is specific to the Powerful program, if you are cutting it down a little bit, the way I'd advise to cut it down is some of the workouts have a core exercise at the end. Just sack the core exercise off and do the extra core workout at home, like on an evening when the kids are in bed, or like it takes 10 minutes, so you could literally just do it while the telly's on in the living room, like while dinner's cooking or whatever. So cut the core exercise out, and then like the bicep and the tricep, because when we're doing the big compound movements, so your rows, your shoulder press, your chest press, anything like that, that's working. Anything row, so pulling and a lat pull down, for example, is going to be working your biceps. I don't know why I feel I need to stroke a bicep bit. So anything pulling is engaging your bicep as well, and anything pushing is engaging your tricep. So they are getting worked anyway in the bigger lifts. They're just not getting the isolation and extra attention that like the bicep curl would give. So I wouldn't want you missing out like a deadlift, like a really core exercise that is just amazing. So what I'm going to do is message you separately about this as well, and just gauge your thoughts on it and kind of where your head's at with it, and what your thought process was. Because if it is the length of the workout that you're struggling with, yeah, there's ways we could cut it down. Another way to cut it down, so that's the first way I'd recommend. The second way is reducing the sets. I think every workout, all the exercises, a maximum 3 sets. If you do want to do 2 sets of a couple of exercises, that's absolutely fine. Don't do fewer than 2 sets. But if you do 2 sets, really heavy, make sure you have your rest, 1 to 2 minutes rest, and go heavy, low reps, 2 sets. That'll be really good. You won't really lose out by not doing your third. Like, it won't be an obvious difference in progress. Okay, then the final questions about nutrition. So lots of gym questions today, which I love, because that's my favorite. But I do also love food. So, you know, my 2 favorite things. So she's getting bored of tracking sometimes, but knows it's beneficial for her. Okay, just gonna have some coffee before it goes cold. This is a really good question. It wasn't really put in as a question, it was just put in as a comment, but I'm going to take it as a question because you put it under what you're struggling with. What I would say, because obviously I know who's written this, you've been tracking for a really long time. You started in January, you had a little break, and you came back. You had what, 2 or 3 month break and came back, and you've been pretty much tracking that whole time apart from a holiday. I know you're going on holiday on Sunday, so take your holiday, no tracking, have a mental break from tracking. Think of it as like a rest week. Obviously, if you want to go to the gym, I know you do like going. Now you like going to the gym on holiday. Because I brainwashed you all. No, if you want to go to the gym, go to the gym. But think of it as like a deload week mentally and physically. Just really enjoy your holiday, because after your holiday, we're probably going to increase your calories and go into a muscle building phase, which is so exciting. I'm so excited for this specific client. Yeah, it's really exciting times. So we'll track after your holiday. We will track again for a little bit. We're going to be bringing you up to maintenance, maybe a small surplus. But at maintenance and surplus, tracking isn't as important. The only thing is you've got to make sure you're eating enough, which does sound crazy. Like, well, obviously I'll be eating enough, but you would be surprised. It's quite hard to eat when you're not hungry, and when you've got used to eating a really high protein diet and high vegetable diet, you get full quite fast. Obviously, you've been in a calorie deficit for a long period, dropped a shitload of body fat. This girl looks banging, by the way. So she's worked really hard. It's paid off. But yeah, I get that you probably are getting like tracking fatigue sometimes. So just enjoy the holiday. And when we come back, we'll look at increasing your calories. And when you've been tracking for a few weeks, literally like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, we can probably come away from tracking, because it's not as important when you're at maintenance or in a surplus. And then what we're going to focus on with you is just really pushing your weights up in your workouts, low reps, heavy weights, and stuffing your face full of protein, and get some amazing gains before the year is out. Okay, doesn't that sound good? If anyone else has any questions about their current calories or their current progress and wants to have a little reassess, drop me a message separately and we can talk about it. Okay, thank you, everybody. That was an amazing check-in form call in terms of the questions you gave and the feedback you gave. So thank you so much and speak to you soon. And that's your weekly Kick Up the Sass. Now go and take action. Stay strong, stay sexy. And if you've not already, scan your QR code and come and say hi to me on Instagram. I love hearing from you. See you next time.